is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We are here taking a recording, previewing this 7-game Thursday main slate, getting you all ready here for this, but it's looking to be like an interesting day. This is, of course, is trade deadline day around the NBA, so there could be some faces on teams ahead of this slate that are no longer on those rosters. So a lot of questionables as you scroll through. A lot of guys already ruled out as you scroll through, and we don't know who's actually going to be on this slate based off of the trade deadline that's going to be coming and going. What is it? Is it 4 o'clock? I think is the deadline time, something like that. So, stick with us here. Obviously, this is a preview show. Don't take everything that's being said here as gospel, because things certainly will be changing by the time 7 p.m. roster lock comes back around. We will be back here live at 5 p.m. Eastern, react to a little bit of the day's trade news, and of course get you all ready for this 7-game main slate. It is a kind of a banger though. Like we got a 250 game total. Golden State, Indiana starting off at 7 p.m. here. The Pacers are giving 6. San Antonio, Orlando. San Antonio is also on a back-to-back. Golden State, San Antonio on back-to-backs here. Orlando is giving 10.5, 224.5 total there. Cleveland's on a back-to-back. They're in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's getting 5.5 at home, 223 total. We have Dallas and New York. The Knicks are getting 3 and a 231 total. Chicago and Memphis. Memphis already making some deals on Wednesday. Memphis is getting 5.5 at home. That's a 213.5 total. Minnesota, Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a 1-point home favorite, 228.5 total there. Utah, Phoenix. Phoenix is giving 6.5 to Utah. That's a 243 total. Denver, LA, they on this main slate? They aren't. So those are the 2 games. We don't have the 2 10 p.m. games on this slate. Our late night hammer is the 9 p.m. game, Utah, Phoenix.
It's a fun slate that, I mean, we say sometimes when we do this preview show, it might not matter. I mean, this is a show that might not matter because we don't know who's going to be on what team by the time that next time you guys see our faces. So again, like John said, hang with us. We're going to do our best to break down the slate that's given to us. But everything else is out of our control. We'll see who's traded. I mean, there's some teams. I mean, Golden State's obviously a team that's rumored in a lot of trade talks.
Yeah, Lakers.
Lakers not on the main slate. Let's see. Brooklyn is a big team. Dinwiddie is a guy that's been talked about a lot. They have Dorian Finney-Smith that could possibly be dealt, so they have a couple guys. Dallas is a team that's looking to trade. The Knicks have everyone injured. They need to make some trades probably to improve their depth. The Bulls are a team that I hope trade everybody and anybody they possibly can, or else we're going to have Fred VanVleet, a.k.a. DeMar DeRozan, leaving without any capital coming back to us.
If you're the Phoenix Suns, you just watch Miles Bridges put up back-to-back 40-plus actuals point games and thinking, all right, maybe we do pull the trigger.
Yeah, $10 million deal this year. Please, you have to go get him. And then Utah, they just traded Simone Fontecchio. Utah he was a restricted free agent next year, starting playing 25 plus minutes a night. And so now makes you wonder if, after their recent kind of skid, are they now gonna start?
Hey, listen, John Collins has been on the market off and on for all year, it seemed like. So he certainly could be the next guy moved. But yeah, so again, a lot to talk about obviously here. Let's get into the point guard position, because this one is a little bit interesting for a few reasons. You have obviously Luka and Kyrie both probable here for this matchup against the Knicks. But the Knicks might be without Brunson here. Brunson turned his ankle in the end of that game the other night, 5 minutes ago in that one. They were up big, and he entered the game again because they started giving away some of that lead, and then he ends up getting hurt. He was $9,700. Booker against Utah, 97. Mitchell's 99 on the back-to-back. Curry on the back-to-back at 95 against the Pacers. Dame missed the other night. He's $8,800. Kyrie's 87. Halliburton down to 86. I mean, pretty good tier of players, 8,500 and above. We just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with questionable, probable tags. We'll see.
So Luka looks like he's going to play. He's probable coming off a Luka type game.
Yep.
35, 18, and 9. A block and 2 steals, 27 shot attempts. He's Luka. Sat for 5 minutes in that game. So if you play him, the Knicks are a tough spot. Doesn't necessarily ever matter. We kind of talked about it on the Wednesday show. If Washington could keep it close, there was going to be a Cleveland member or members to break the Slate, and one Donovan Mitchell scored 40 actual. So that happened, and it could happen again in Brooklyn, second leg of a back-to-back. Donovan Mitchell, there's just no denying that he's playing as well as almost anyone in the league right now. So if that game, again, only a 5-point spread, 5.5, 6, depending on what book you're looking at. Donovan Mitchell, elite tournament play. The Suns could be without Bradley Beal in this game. He sprained his ankle.
Yeah.
Devin Booker / Kevin Durant all day and twice on tomorrow.
Home versus Utah.
It's as good as it gets. So I'd imagine one or both of those Phoenix guys would be incredibly chalky if we found out. Like your late night hammer is just like one of Devin Booker or Kevin Durant or both. Yeah. And like your lineups, like that would feel super good. Brunson definitely can get there if he plays. Revenge narrative wasn't very good. Wasn't bad against them the last time. I think they lost that game in Dallas. Maybe they lost that game in Dallas. Can definitely get there. Curry, great spot. Horrible game on Wednesday.
Win by 20 plus, and he had 9 actual in 25 minutes. So
and then Dame, Kyrie, sure.
I mean, it was a 2-man show in that.
Yeah.
So, and you're going to see a lot of that, right? I mean, when they're both going good, there's no reason to go away from them. We talked about it. And more of a reason, probably like Donovan Mitchell, you also have to look at it on the back-to-back, like what's Garland and Mobley potentially looking like on a back-to-back here.
Right.
Mobley 9 of 10 shooting tonight. He was.
I think they played
awesome. So
didn't they have a back-to-back?
They did. You're right. They recently did have a back-to-back. Did they play?
Did Garland
31st in the first? Detroit and Memphis.
I think Mobley sat and Garland played because Mobley did. Mobley played the 31st. He did not play.
Okay.
On the first.
And we got for minutes Garland tonight 28 in that game, so still sort of semi-capped there in minutes, so it could be a little bit there as well. What do you think of the next tier of plays here?
Next tier of plays at point guard. IC3's favorite player on the NBA, Kobe White, helped him win a bunch of money the other night because apparently Minnesota just can't guard anymore. And nobody can stop.
I saw somebody taking the over 3.5 threes in Kobe White. I was like, really, against Minnesota? Like that felt a little risky. No, knocked down 7.
He's just unstoppable. He is in some type of rhythm right now. 33, 26, 35 actual the last 3 games. So if you want to get to Kobe White, by all means, he gets Memphis, good spot. Yeah, Cam Thomas, really tough spot there. Probably not. We know he's going to take a lot of shots. That's the only thing we know about Cam Thomas. If Beal plays, he's been really good in back-to-back games.
We should have seen the Washington game coming, right?
Should have seen
in Washington. Probably should have read the tea leaves on that one.
Yeah, and he didn't even get to play like the fourth quarter. He had 43 points in 31 minutes in Washington. Definitely should have seen that one coming. But he did it against Milwaukee. Also a great spot. Hey, guess what's also a great spot? Utah. Yeah, so Bradley Beal 7,200 is really, really solid. Him and Kobe White would be the next tier of guys that I'd be really interested in.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you here as well. Depending on Utah, like if Utah trades like Jordan Clarkson or trades John Collins, I mean, Sexton here, but Keontae George is also a guy that we'd probably take a look at. Where's George? Is George shooting guard now? There he is. $3,900 for Keontae George. I mean, I'm looking at the 2 Utah plays. Both of those might be pretty solid here.
I mean, like this was the type of minutes, but even more earlier in the year for George when he finally took on that starting role. And it's not to say that he is starting right now, but like kind of figured this would happen again, right? Like he only lost his starting job because of an injury, and then Colin Sexton's playing so well. You're like, well, we can't like not play Colin Sexton when we're winning every game, but now it's just kind of a chop, and
he's been good. Like remember early
really
in the year he couldn't shoot.
Yep.
Like that was our biggest thing. Guy could not make a bucket to save his life. Dude shooting 50% from the field over the last 5-6 games here. So
yes, he's gonna be. I bet you first run. There's also like a scenario where there's a lot of ways that Keontae George plays a lot of minutes. Like this game could get out of hand in Phoenix. Keontae George is gonna be on the floor. We've also seen when they've played poorly, the starters, and they just turn to Keontae George and the bench unit, they just stick. Will Hardy just sticks with the bench unit. So there is a ton of scenarios. Keontae George just plays a boatload of minutes here.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you. And I didn't mean to jump all the way down to the value, but I was waiting. I was more so thinking he's going to be the 5K range. Like, oh, you got Sexton here at 67, but you got George probably in this. Wait a minute. Where is he? Where? Oh, Jesus. He's all the way down here. So McBride's also 4,100. If there's no Brunson, McBride's going to play all the minutes. He played 31 in that game anyways against Memphis because of the injury. It's not the greatest of great spots, but he's going to play 40 minutes starting for Thibodeau here. So pending trade, I guess. I don't know. Like it's just.
Yeah. I mean, but even like pending him being traded, you're saying?
That's even true. Like it's not like they're going to get anybody.
I just don't think
that game. So
unless it's like from Dallas, who's like in New York already, and
like Seth Curry or something like that.
Right? Yeah, like unless it was literally on the other team or in the same borough, like if it's in Brooklyn they just have to like if they get Dinwiddie, right?
Just, I was gonna say, eventually they just get Dinwiddie.
That's that. Like then that's like the like only possibility. It isn't a bad spot though. Like Dallas is a top 10 team in pace. Like I would definitely you'd see like so many lineups just starting Keontae George, Miles McBride, because those you can also play McBride at shooting guard as well.
Yeah, I might just play George regardless. I think George.
Yeah, for sure.
Me, so
no, I agree. I'm just saying like George. I'm and
McBride.
McBride might also be kind of a plug. He played 31 minutes, but it wasn't. Brunson got hurt late in the game, as you mentioned.
Yeah, he was already playing 25. So
they're hurt. They're just really hurt. So yeah, I think both those.
What are we doing with Memphis guards here?
Ignoring them.
I was gonna say, I mean, I heard you. We did get 27 minutes out of Scottie Pippen in the blowout.
Yeah.
How are they only? Was it 5 points against the Bulls here? Like, shouldn't it be more? 5.5. Is it because they're just thinking Chicago moves on from everybody? Like, what would Chicago even trade in this game? Who's on the block? Caruso,
DeRozan.
Okay.
DeRozan has one more year left on his deal. So if DeRozan is, I mean, again, that's why or it's end of year, you have to deal him. And then Caruso never going to have better value than he has right now. You got to trade him.
True.
If D-Rose is out, I think there's obviously more appeal to the Pippen Gilliard thing, but Gilliard or Scottie Pippen DMP'd against the Knicks. He didn't play. So
true.
Gilliard, Rose, and it's also because they have Kennard and Concher healthy. They're not extending Kennard past 24 minutes. We'll see if that continues. Concher played 26 in his return. So they only were able to get one of those other guys. If I had to pick, it'd be Gilliard just because he's the one that's playing, but I don't love either.
For the Orlando guards here, Suggs 27 minutes, 28 minutes last couple of games. Same thing for Fultz, 28 minutes the other night. Obviously, San Antonio is a good matchup for guards. Both of them are under 5K. Dennis Smith Jr. is 42. He keeps on popping in and out of that rotation for Brooklyn. We don't need to go here because we're pretty locked in on Keontae at the moment and obviously McBride, but do you have any interest in the Orlando and or Dennis Smith Jr. here?
I mean, Fultz is interesting. 28 minutes, again, 23 fantasy points. Anytime he's seemingly extended. He's had one bad game in his last 5.
Yep.
Markelle Fultz, 23, 15, 26, 29, 32 fantasy points his last 5, and his prices just keeps going down. So, I think 4,500 for Markelle Fultz is a pretty good price. I would also I'm just gonna give a hat tip to Lester Quininos.
Yep.
That's the official pronunciation. I was listening to the broadcast tonight.
Hit the shots.
24 minutes, 4 for 7 from the floor, 13 points at 4 threes, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. Still 3,600. There's a lot of value.
Second time in 3 games he's knocked down 4 threes. So
yeah, if they're just gonna keep giving this dude run while they're healthy, like what,
or they trade Clay,
or they trade Clay. Yeah, I mean, it's just there's a lot that are carving out minutes for a lot of ways to carve out minutes for him here.
Agreed. Shooting guard over here again. We've talked some of these plays already. Obviously, Ant Edwards is still $8,500. I mean, attacking Milwaukee with guards has been, the cash cow this year. Obviously, 44 minutes against Chicago, went for 68 fantasy points, 38 actual, but he had 32 actual against Houston. So the scoring starting to come back here for Anthony Edwards in a spot where, again, they haven't been able to stop any guards this year. So we've been saying it for a month now that mid 8Ks is too cheap for Anthony Edwards. He's gone back and forth on paying that off, but I think this is a night where he gives it to them.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of resistance for Milwaukee here, especially not that it matters if Dame's in or out, but no Middleton. That's another big body they could put on Anthony Edwards. Like he might be one of their best perimeter defenders, and now he doesn't exist because he's out. So, yeah, fire up Anthony Edwards in all formats.
Yep, full on agree there. I mean, when does DiVincenzo get too expensive? I don't know, because he's now gone for 46, 59, 44, and 54 in 4 of the last 5 games. So
I don't think that exists as long as they're gonna, if it's gonna continue to be what it's gonna continue to be, why not? Right? He's playing 40 minutes, check. He's taking 20 plus shots, check. All of them are threes, and they go in. He's very good for. I mean, and now is he gonna be? He's the lead guard if Brunson's not there. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Do they? I guess the question is, I think they're good enough. Like without Brunson, obviously Brunson is a big piece, but like, I guess the main question would be: is it competitive without Brunson?
Does he hit 9 threes, DiVincenzo?
Right. It doesn't.
Maybe.
Right.
Listen, we've talked about this with Dallas. There's no resistance to them on their own defensive side of the floor. They just outscore you.
Yes.
So, if the Knicks can play some defense, maybe DiVincenzo can. I mean, dude, 12 of 18, 10 of 22. Obviously, shooting night against in what has been the best spot so far. Basically, you'd think had his poor shooting night there, but crazy run for Donte DiVincenzo. The $7,900. If you just block the name but look at the numbers, you'd think he's too cheap. Kobe White's here. Bridges and Thomas both there. We'll see who's left in Brooklyn when the deals come down there. Vassell on a back-to-back. We talked about this. Like, he's playing big minutes on back-to-back, so not really too concerned about that. But Orlando, not the greatest matchup. Podziemski did not have a great night tonight. Maybe if they trade Clay and they put him in the lineup, like that can be a consideration here. What are your overall thoughts on the 6K and under shooting guards?
I don't love it. 13 minutes for Karis LeVert, by the way, insane. He's just so dead in this rotation. They need it. Hopefully, he's traded for his own good. Not a lot of interest, truthfully, up and down this list.
Sumo?
Probably Ios. Yeah, that's probably the next guy I'd get to. And he was they did go the double big route, which I don't expect them to do again, because also Drummond might get traded. So
yes, yeah.
Like that's another trade candidate. Memphis doesn't have any bigs to play, so like you won't see Drummond, Vooch start next to each other. So Io likely re-enters the starting lineup. That would be fine. Caruso 53. I mean, dude, he had 4 blocks. He has multiple blocks in like. Look, if you look at Alex Caruso, he has a block in like 20 straight games. He's like 6'1". I mean, that's like. This is why I don't think he's going to be on the team by tomorrow, because again, if you're going to get an OG type package for Alex Caruso, you have to trade him if you're sure. Like, there's just no way you let him.
Isn't that crazy that he's going to net 2 late first round picks, basically?
Yep, that's great. I mean, it's like the Bulls. Unfortunately for Alex Caruso, he signed on to a team that included Lonzo Ball. and was like number 2 in the Eastern Conference, and then everything.
You saw the highlights, Lonzo on the court taking some bunnies, flat-footed bunnies.
Yeah, that's because he's never gonna be able to jump again.
Can't jump again. Yeah.
So this is the peak value. So if and when they trade him, we're talking about him, but like I just have to assume he's gone. If not, he's in play because it's probable to play. But yeah, 5,300 is a really good price if he's still a Chicago Bull.
I agreed. No Lillard and now no Middleton. Beasley went out there and had a Beasley game, but he's kind of been sneaky good the last 3 games here now. Revenge game against Minnesota as well. If you want to throw that narrative out there, any interest here in Malik Beasley at 48?
Yeah, I mean, no Middleton confirmed. Lillard is questionable, right? Is that the official designation on him?
I believe so.
Yeah, officially questionable. Has an ankle sprain. I know Brolo is back after the birth of his child, so they're getting a little front court depth back, but that doesn't really do anything to Beasley. I think Beasley's minutes are pretty secure, especially because Doc has no idea what he's doing.
Yeah, 1 and 4. 1 and 4.
And we've already gotten the classic like arms up, scrunched face from Doc that we're gonna see in the postseason sooner rather than later. And yeah, 4,800 for Beasley is perfectly fine. I think with or without Lillard, I would prefer without Lillard because him and Giannis, and I guess Brolo and Portis, that's like your 4-man team essentially. Jay Crowder played a bunch of minutes the other day.
Good.
Yeah, I'm okay getting Beasley here.
Big 3-point shot attempts there, and you just mentioned how Minnesota the other night just didn't defend anybody. So you talk Conchar up. A lot of the guys we've already discussed down here, like Patty Con's getting extra love at 4K. Moody down here at 34, depending on who's on Golden State, could be someone that moves into a lineup. Agbaji could start for Fontecchio. What are you feeling? Any of these bottom cheap guys?
I was actually thinking that's what they're gonna do too. Start Agbaji. We'll see. Who knows? Will Hardy's a wild man, so
can't believe they moved him, dude.
I know that was a weird trade. Restricted free agent next year, so maybe they're just like, we're not gonna pay him because he's.
Hey, dude, he came out and said they pluged the tweet. They envision Fontecchio part of their core group moving forward.
The Pistons, right?
Pistons, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's a 40%. Dude, 40% 3-point. He went from 33% last year to 40% this year from 3. Like very good defender. It's a good move for Detroit. Giving up what they gave up to get him. Which is nothing because it's Kevin Knox. Connaughton did play 32 minutes for what it's worth the other night. Again, that was aided by like a lot of people out, but there's potentially the same people out again, sans Brook Lopez, who's back, but that doesn't matter for Connaughton who's playing on the wing. So
nope. Small forward position, Laurie, $8,700, Siakam, $8,400. Good price points there. DeRozan, 77. We'll see if he's there. Kuminga, 73 against Indiana. Looks like a pretty great spot. Franz Wagner just missed all of his shots. Big sad, but has a good matchup here against San Antonio. What are you thinking?
Honestly, kind of like every single player above 7K, maybe with the exception of Mikal. Just because, and not to say don't, like we say it all the time, Mikal has the ceiling when he makes shots, but like everyone else kind of like he has Mikal's matchup is terrible.
Yeah, I was going to say really, really tough spot for him.
So like Markkanen has a ceiling. If they're going to stay competitive with Phoenix, it's going to be with Markkanen if he's on the team, because obviously his name is popular as well in trade talks. I don't know why Utah wouldn't want to build around him.
Right. I was going to say, wouldn't you want to include him as a core build? But I mean,
you would think. You would think
because you're not trading him to another lottery team, right? So you're not going to get anything of value back there. So my opinion on the Markkanen market was like if Oklahoma City wanted to make a move for another front court member and just use like Jalen Williams in more like traditional small forward role. Yeah.
They have the most draft capital of all time. Like they have 50 first-round picks that they can just trade, and I'm sure a few of them would be like protected lottos and
first-round pick, right? Like,
dude, they have like 28 picks over the next 4 years or something insane like that. It's just like You can trade Usman Jang, former lotto pick, right?
So they have the Rockets 1 to 4 protected first round pick this year. They have Utah. They actually have Utah's first round pick 1 to 10 protected this year as well. Who did they send to Utah? How did they get Utah's first round pick in 2024? That's what
Dude, I'm telling you, they've just dealt so many people.
They also have the Clippers first round pick this year. So they don't have their own first round pick. Go figure that one out.
But they also have like 27 other picks for the next however many years.
They do. 2025, they have 4 first. So they have 3 first round picks this year, 4 next year. They have Miami, Philly, their own, and then they can pick between Houston or the Clippers based off pick swapping protections. And then that's it. Actually, they go back to I lied, 2027, because they can trade future first round picks, their own, the Nuggets, and the Clippers in 2027. So after that, though, it is they go back to just single picks. So for the next 3 years or so, they have 3+ first round picks.
But that's why I've always felt like if there was one team that wanted to make a splash, with whoever they really wanted to, like if someone like Markkanen, it would be OKC, because hey, like we kind of can't rebound. That'd probably be the one like fatal flaw of OKC. Markkanen, big, good rebounder, good scorer, like would, I feel like, fit perfect next to like Chet, SGA. Like that team would be. But then again, like I understand maybe they want to just go into the playoffs and be like, hey, let's see what we got, right? Like, so if Markkanen's still there, great. Siakam's been looking really good last 2 games. Guess what? Played with Tyrese Halliburton in those 2, and he's looked very, very good in doing so. So, love
Siakam. What did Halliburton's minutes get up to the other days? He's still on the 29, dude.
It's getting up there.
Dude, $8,600.
Getting up there.
You have to play him, right?
If it's 30+, yeah.
Against Golden State at home, coming off 29 minutes.
Second leg of a back-to-back for Golden State. Yeah.
He was 10-8. Like this is we missed that one because I thought for a second he was still 20 minutes, but the fact that he got to 29 there, you have to play that.
Yeah, he's had some monster games in low 30s minutes earlier this year too. So I mean if he is gonna play, we'll see how long this minutes restriction even lasts. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4 games with low 20s. In the 5th game he went to 29. So if game number 6 is like 32, 33, then perfectly fine getting to 86.
Well, what if they said it's 28 minutes? 28 to 30.
Tournaments. I'd still be okay in tournaments.
Okay. Sure. Back to small forward, because we went on obviously a little bit of a tangent there, because obviously Colin Siakam was a great play. These guys we've talked about. Kuminga obviously in a great spot. Franz bounce back for him. OG's already out, so 40 minutes ish for Josh Hart's coming down the pipe. Dude, these rebounds. 5 straight. I keep like avoiding his rebound prop because I'm like, there's no way he does it again. And he does it. It's always at like 8.5. And I'm just like, nah, like that's so many rebounds. And Hartenstein's, dude, is just a rebounding machine. He triple-doubled against Utah. And now if there's no Brunson, I don't know. Like, maybe he finds a little bit more offense. I mean, he took 16 shots in that OT game. Or not OT. I keep saying OT because they played all these minutes in their regulation game against the Lakers. So the shooting can be there.
I'm a little not. So he made the comments the other day, like a few games back, where he was like, I wish Taj was in there too, when the crowd was chanting about Taj Gibson after he played 40 minutes. And then I don't know if you saw, he went for scans on his knee. Okay. And I know he's not on the injury report and stuff, but it just makes you wonder, because I've seen this with Thibodeau teams. We've all seen this with Thibodeau teams. He just wears players down. And now Josh Hart has played 39, 43, 38, 42, 37 minutes in 5 straight games, and was randomly just popping up with a knee injury, like a knee ailment. I'm not saying they really have like the bodies to necessarily take him off the floor, but like, would it surprise you if he didn't play 40 minutes? I mean, like just with the knee, with like
the reason he got fired from being the coach of the Timberwolves, because the players complained
that
they were playing too many minutes. Towns and Butler and all those guys were like, we can't play for this man. He's playing us 40 minutes. He won't give us a rec. So, that's just the Tibbs way, man. Neesmith, what did Ben Simmons play? 20 minutes. Gave you another Ben Simmons game.
Yep.
In the 20 minutes there, but not gonna judge the 20 minutes. Neesmith, as I mentioned, Vince Williams, $5,800, looking pretty decent, I think. Continues to play now under 6K.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get the price because he did nothing to really deserve he just got hurt.
Yeah.
And just missed 2 games, and then they took his money. They were like, hey, here's a cheaper price. And to be fair to Vince Williams, 38% from 3 now, and we've talked about this a lot. The Bulls do not defend the 3-point line in any capacity. The Bulls are pretty good defensively.
Wait till they trade Caruso.
Yeah, dude, forget it. They're pretty good defensively as a unit, at least where they rank, and that's obviously a large part due to Alex Caruso. And
Ayo's pretty good.
Yes, he is a good defender. So, and Pat Williams, obviously, when Pat Williams is on the floor, they have good defensive players. But Pat Williams is not there. Caruso is not going to be guarding Vince Williams. Dude, he's going to get a lot of open threes in this game. So if he keeps knocking him down, then $1,500 is just kind of a misprice for a guy that just
65, 66 we're paying for him. Like you said, he's had nothing to lose. I'm in. I like that a lot for him there. Wiggins had a double-double. Talk about a guy that might be on the trading block today. He went out and had a double-double against Philadelphia. If he's in $5,600, do you just go back to the well?
Probably. We're going to want Golden State, right? Kuminga's an obvious selection. Then we'll see if Draymond plays second leg of a back-to-back, but if Curry's obvious. But yeah, if Wiggins, he's played pretty well lately.
Agreed. Anybody else underneath that popping off to you here?
Royce O'Neal, 4,500. He was so good the other day. Even though he came off the bench and that was annoying, they started Ben Simmons. It didn't matter. He played 32 minutes. He was super good. He's taking so many threes. Yeah. He's taking He's pulling up in transition, taking threes. He's coming off they're running actions for Royce O'Neal. I've never seen this version of Royce O'Neal where teams are legitimately running an action for him to shoot threes. He's more been standing in the corner, Royce O'Neal, for a long time.
3-and-D Utah man, right?
So 4,500. It's the same exact Brooklyn team. Cam Johnson out, Lonnie Walker out, Daron Sharp out. They're just going to play it's the exact same lineup as it was, and maybe a different version if Spencer Dinwiddie's traded or
Dennis Smith Jr.'s gone.
Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah. So definitely Royce O'Neal at 4,500.
Agreed. Anybody else? 4K under? Any of these Memphis guys? Let's see. He played 20 minutes the other day against the Knicks.
No, he got DMP. Oh no, he did play the Knicks game. Yeah.
They don't have Xavier Tillman, obviously. Not that Xavier was.
Where's Crowder?
Playing. Yeah, where's Jay Crowder?
He's 42. No, he's 4,200. He's listed as probable. He played 40 minutes.
Dude, I just want to do this as a self pat on the back, but also I don't know if the books were asleep for this game against Phoenix. So Middleton got ruled out. Announcement comes through. Jay Crowder starting second half for Chris Middleton. He had 4 first half rebounds already. His live rebound line was 5.5. I get it. He only had 6. But his live rebound line was 5.5. He already had 4. He had a whole half to play where they already announced him as the starter. So I hammered that one.
He played 40 minutes for a second straight game.
Rebound. So sometimes if you're able to live bet, James might be able to do so soon. You can get these guys asleep at the wheel. Same game. Bradley Beal plus 210 to go over 1.5 steals at halftime. He had 1 steal already in the first half. He just needed a steal in the second half of that game to hit the bet. He ended up with 4, I think, in the game. It was just, I don't know. I made some money. I'm happy about it. Let's go to power forward here. Giannis 11.6 against Minnesota. Big price. Durant $9,600. Wemby $89. Your top 3 priced power forwards here.
I'm not really scared of Giannis of the matchup, truthfully. Giannis is just a nightmare for anybody that defends him. So Gobert's going to be away from the rim potentially. If I guess that's we'll see what happens, right? Is Gobert going to just guard Giannis because Giannis is more towards the rim and Brook Lopez is around the perimeter, and they put Towns on Brook Lopez? Like, that's going to be obviously a nightmare in any situation. Like, Gobert trying to guard Giannis off the bounce seems terrible for him. Gobert chasing Brook Lopez to the perimeter and then putting Karl Anthony Towns on Giannis is terrible. So, like, Giannis is a bad matchup for Minnesota. Thankfully, Minnesota does not have to play him in a 7-game series unless it's the finals. I love Durant in this spot. Other than that Washington game, which obviously he's just like deferring to Bradley Beal, and he's been super nails pretty much throughout. And now potentially there's no Beal potentially in this game. 9,600 against Utah is a great spot for Durant. Wembanyama is fine. He's just going to get you 50 fantasy points. I don't know what else to say at this point. I don't know. What did he end up with? He had,
I think it was 20 and 10 again tonight, something
18, like that. 18, 13, 3, 1, and 1. So I don't
probably
think that's
close.
50, but it's close. I mean,
it was 18, 13, 3, 1, and 1.
Yeah, 18, 13, 3, 1, and 1.
So he had 50 going 19, 14, 3, 2, and 2. So maybe he fell 48 fantasy points tonight. Probably
40, 44, 45.
Yeah.
I can just look at my contest. I didn't play Wemby. He ended up with 44.25 fantasy points,
which is still fine because he was under 9K.
He was under. That's 5x, right?
5x.
That's exactly.
Once again, came through 5x fantasy points. So, Wemby's fine. Talked Laurie, Siakam. How about Paulo here, 8,200? Did you see the All-Star skills competition team? The number 1 picks. It's Paulo, Wemby, and Anthony Edwards. And
number one. Yeah, the number 1 pick one. Yeah, I did see that. That's fun. That's fun.
He was good. He was about the only good Magic player the other night.
Yes. He's really good at passing, by the way. 7-7-6, 7-7-7, 6-6-2, 6 assists over his last 12 games. And then we know obviously he can score the basketball quite well.
Yes. We were waiting for that player, right? We were waiting for the guy that would go out and fill the stat sheet up.
Sure.
Towns 81, Jaren Jackson 79, Mobley. If Mobley's in, 7K for him. Had another big night. Still a little limited, but still.
I do like Paolo in the spot. Towns is, I think, fine. I put it in the playbook. I thought there was a really good chance Towns had a ceiling game with threes. Sure did. 7 for 16 from 3 in that game because, again, the Bulls can't defend the 3-point line. So Towns coming off 52. I do think it's a really tough matchup for him, having to guard Giannis or chase Brook Lopez to the perimeter. But he is such an offensive monster. This is a really good spot for Minnesota, pace-up spot. So can get to Towns. If Jaren Jackson plays, I'm okay with it. We know he's going to take a billion shots. He's missed 2 games in a row. He is now their starting center.
Yeah.
That's just, they traded Xavier Tillman. They've traded Steven Adams. And so now unless they wanted to go Trey Jamison, who had a pretty good game the other day against the Knicks after flopping in his start against Boston, they're going to start Jaren Jackson at center. So I like Triple J, Mobley, 7K. The price is good. I guess we'll see if he plays because he didn't play in the back-to-back. And his thing was a knee, right? Like he had the knee surgery where Garland's mouth was wired shut. So we'll see if he plays. I'm definitely more skeptical that Mobley plays versus Garland. I think it's more likely, as we just saw, that Garland plays and Mobley doesn't, but we'll see.
Okay. Sandy Aldama, $5,500. Sohan, 56. Draymond, 61. John Collins is 62. Precious Achiuwa, 64. Kind of your mid-tier. GG's right there as well. All the Memphis guys.
It is Precious has really been good. Salute to Precious. I was kind of poo-pooing him for a little bit. He hasn't been that efficient, but offensively, 3 of the last 4 games, shoot over 60%. 3 of those last 4, he's 29 plus fantasy points, 16 rebound game mixed in there. The defense continues to be there for Precious. The stats, he keeps accruing defensive stats, which is nice. So shorthanded Knicks team going to keep rolling Precious Achiuwa for as many minutes as possible. Maybe he even plays more because of Josh Hart's little knee ailment that does or does not limit him. If John Collins is on the team, hey, you want 30 fantasy points? John Collins is your man. He's going to give you 30 plus fantasy points. He's probably going to get you a double-double or right around a double-double. Like those are almost like surefire things for John Collins at this point. Draymond, good spot. See if he plays on a back-to-back. He was not very good on Wednesday. The Aldama thing is interesting because his minutes they fluctuate so frequently, but like now that he is just fully like off an injury, right? Like he came off the injury last game, only played 23 minutes. They kind of came back with their bench unit, so they just played him. I'd be okay getting to Aldama here because he's another guy who makes a lot of threes, almost 50% for over his last 5 games, 3+ threes in 3 of his last 4. Like I'd be okay getting to Aldama. I think Jaren Jackson also alongside of him helps because just the attention that Jaren Jackson will.
Sure. Gigi got you 16 and 21 minutes there.
Yeah, he's a psycho when it comes to fantasy points. If I would probably we'll see what happens with trades and stuff, and if Jaren Jackson's in or out. I'm a little indifferent on Gigi at 53. I know he had 30 fantasy points. I know he's like a good fantasy point per minute guy, but he also had a 3-point fantasy floor when he didn't make his shots against Golden State.
Does Kelly O start for Fontecchio?
Does Kelly O remain a Utah? I would say he's the most likely guy to be traded.
I would agree with you. Upset that Boston landed Xavier Tillman and not Kelly Olynyk. Who's to say that they can't get both?
I mean, rich get richer, John. Like they just are. I mean, what is the Kelly O contract?
He's in Utah. 4,400. The way he's been playing right now,
He's not. He's on an expiring deal. There's no chance. I just looked it up.
Yeah,
he's like the most valuable Utah Jazz member. I mean, he has to. Dude. Like I know what you're saying, and I should acknowledge that I agree with there's a chance he starts.
I'm just saying, as of right now, he is still on the team. So if he's still on the team, come 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock,
they could go with that triple big lineup where they go Collins, Markin, and Kelly O.
Yeah,
because Lowry's played plenty of small forward in his life, which is unfortunate for him because he's too big to play small forward, but he has played a lot of small forward. So yeah, if the 1% chance that Kelly O is still on this team, I'm literally like, there's just no way Utah's going to trade Simone Fontecchio and then just be like, nah, we're going to keep Kelly Olynyk on an expiring deal, more valuable than like anything else we have on the team. I just can't see it.
I agree with you. What's Maxey dealing with? Maxey's got the toe, of course, keeps dislocating on him.
Yep.
Jalen Smith here, the minutes are always there for him. What else are we looking at power forward here?
I don't think there's like John Isaac back down to 10 minutes. It's just impossible to predict minutes for John Isaac, especially with this team just fully healthy.
Heard DNP'd. Bull.
He did. He's back in the rotation. Yeah. They're legit just playing Bull. He's in the rotation now. He was really good prior to that injury. I don't think there's anything down here.
Center position. A lot of these guys we've discussed. Vucevic we haven't. $7,600 would be a great spot for Vucevic if he's still in Chicago. Yes. Jared Allen, revenge game. Go up against Claxton. Maybe no Mobley. He's 75. Gobert, Nurkic, Claxton himself. Hartenstein against Dallas would be pretty good. What are your thoughts here?
It's a pretty interesting tier. Vooch is obviously a really good play, 7,600. We don't know who's going to be on Chicago tomorrow, but whatever Memphis decides to do at center is not going to be able to match up with Nikola Vucevic. Jared Allen, revenge narrative. what did he do? I don't think he had the
He did not
best
have a good game tonight. No, it wasn't. It was
9.
12 and 8, maybe something like that.
Well, yeah, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, but
Yeah.
was fourth fiddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously good defensively, 2 blocks. He's a good defensive player. Mobley and Donovan Mitchell just dominated everything.
Hartenstein.
Yeah, Hartenstein for sure. He just super solid. I was really tilting because I played him in this Memphis spot. And he had like 8 or 6 or 7 or 8 rebounds at half, and he just had 9. I was like, this feels
Lively already being ruled out in a questionable Kleba.
Leva.
That means you just have Dwight Powell or Rashawn Holmes just painting themselves in the box basically down there for Hartenstein. I mean, it's a pretty good spot for him.
Yeah, and we saw, and the interesting thing about the Kleba questionable is that he's been on the injury report like every day, but he's been probable the last few games, and he's played. And again, guy with a significant injury playing 34, 28, 30 minutes, and then suddenly pops up questionable. Like, it's just an endless story. These people, why are we extending players that are not over injuries? Like, I don't understand it. But Hardenstein is a good matchup no matter what. I would obviously have much more interest in Nurkic if there's no Bradley Beal.
Sure.
Also, I don't know what that does. We didn't really, I guess, talk about like Eric Gordon 4,400. That would probably be a boost, or Grayson Allen 5,100. Like one of those two guys.
They probably go point Booker here, right? Instead of going Goodwin or something.
Yep, point Booker, and they also have Theo Maledon as well on this roster randomly. Saban Lee just randomly on this roster as well. I think it would be Booker, Gordon, Allen, Durant, Nurk, probably.
We didn't talk much about the guards for Minnesota. Obviously, they traded Shake and Troy Brown here.
Yes, sure.
Think that impacts any rotations? I mean, at all? Or
because Brown's been out of the rotation, Shake's been out of the rotation. Okay. I don't know if Monty Morris will be available either in this one, but I don't think there's much there. I mean, less depth, I guess. Maybe if like Conley were to get in foul trouble, you could see like NAW extended a little bit.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with you. Anybody else?
Wendell Carter, he's been super up and down, but his 5,300 is a good price. Walker Kessler, minutes again. Just if Collins is gone, you assume Walker Kessler becomes your starting center, but we don't know if John Collins is going to be there or not. If Draymond were to sit, Dario Saric and or somebody else in that front court, and then if Jaren Jackson's out, Trey Jemison's 3,900 again. He played 32 minutes the other day, 12 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks, 26 fantasy points. That'd be more than enough at 3,900. Just 5 fouls. He was in foul trouble against Boston the game before. Like, probably going to be in foul trouble again against Nikola Vucevic. But, and then I guess if Kleba sits, Rashawn Holmes probably starts, right? We saw him play 30, start and play 30 against Minnesota. That's my guess, just because it just happened, and maybe they decide to start Dwight Powell, but we just saw them miss Kleba and Lively, and they started Rashawn Holmes. So if keep an eye on what Dallas decides to do. That's a 7:30 game, so we should know pretty early.
Yep, I agree. Let's build a lineup. Where are we starting? I guess Vince Williams, right? He's just too cheap here.
Keontae George.
Yep, Keontae George. McBride.
I would say one of the Phoenix guys, just given the spot that they're in, either Durant or Booker. I like Kevin Durant quite a bit here against Utah, that front court.
Durant, yep, I'm with you there. George, McBride, Williams, Durant. What'd you say that next move was? Or center. Do we go Hartenstein here?
Yeah, Hartenstein's for as solid as it gets with the
It's hard. I would agree with you. Guard play 66 and above. Edwards is 85.
So much money.
It's
too
good. Forward. Wiggins, if he's there, 56. If you think he can double it up on the back-to-back, he's coming off his thing.
Royce O'Neal, 45.
Yeah, they need buddies. Where's the networks? And then that gives us a 69. Nice utility. Can Nurkic or Sexton? True.
Probably Nurk. That Phoenix spot is.
Get us some late night hammer action there,
Yeah, it's a good one.
George, McBride, Williams, Durant, Hartenstein, Anthony Edwards, Royce O'Neal, Yusuf Nurkic as an example lineup for everybody. Again, first look, trade deadline day. Come back here 5 o'clock Eastern time with us, and we'll update you with all the information you need to know. I think I'm on the playbook. We'll find out. You see that when it gets live on site. We'll be in the Discord. We'll catch you guys later.